Welcome to my charcuterie cabinet. My name's Greg. Let's see what's going on in here. Got a pepperoni, traditional style. Took some American style ones out recently. Got a calabrese. Got a sopressata back there. This is some venison landjaeger. I bet you this is ready to come out. Some guanciales. This is a fiocco, which is the small muscle off of the ham. There's the culatello, that's the big muscle off the ham. I don't know if you can see in here. I got some pancettas in the back. This is what I do with my test pieces for my salamis. Sometimes I coat them in the cornmeal, like a patina, and sometimes I wrap them up. You know, there's usually some leftover when I wrap a mussel in the collagen sheet. You know, they're never that good. It's not something I want to share with my friends, but it's a worthy snack. It's still worth throwing on a piece of bread and eating. Down here we got a couple of more culatellos. I got my giant, ridiculous leg that's just been in here forever. I don't know if it'll ever be done. Got this one back here is the one I cleaned the mold off of not too long ago. The video. It's looking pretty good. Anyway, let's start weighing this up. That's what I'm going to do today in this video. Well, I got out my big notebook of recipes and projects. I'm going to start here with with my venison landjaeger. Venison landjaeger. This is a new one, kind of an experiment. Similar to the other landjaeger. Similar but different because it's venison, which can be gamey. Get a nice close look up at the venison landjaeger. It's all a tangled mess here. All right, let's see what we got. I figure it out. I take my weight, it says 572. I'm going to divide that by what it weighed originally, -1. And I've lost 40%. 40% is good for me for a salami. Anywhere over 30% is edible. I'm going to keep that out. There will be a venison landjaeger video coming up pretty soon. Well, next I got my traditional pepperoni. Got a nice healthy layer of Penicillium nalgiavensis on it. I'm going to jot that down. Stuck this in the cabinet 15 days ago. It has lost 17% of its weight. Needs to lose at least 30% to be edible. I prefer closer to 40% for my salamis. If you don't want them as hard as salami, 35% is good. 30% is edible. Yeah, next one up is my mild calabrese. Doesn't have as healthy a layer of the mold. And I kind of think that's because I used this was from the very last. This is from the very last of my one envelope. Whereas that pepperoni was the beginning of a fresh one. Let's see where we're at. Again, I'm going to take the weight it is now. It says 928. I'm going to divide that by the starting weight, -1. 24% it's lost. So needs to get to 30 to be edible. Going for more like 40. 38 to 40. And this one has been in there for 22 days. Next up, we got my sopressata. This one also started went into that cabinet 22 days ago. It also has some of the Penicillium nalgiavensis, but you know, not as much as that pepperoni did. That sound is the sound my cabinet makes when it turns on. What is this one at? 765. This one has lost 24% as well. Next up is a couple of guanciales. These have been in there for 55 days. This one has lost about 19.5%. 38 days ago, it had lost 14. So in the last 38 days, this has lost another 5.5%. These might only get to 25% because they're so fatty. We'll see. And then here's my smaller one. Smaller guanciale. It's off of a different animal. Okay, that one's getting pretty close to its target. So I gotta do my math. Yeah, that one's lost 23%. Been in there the same amount of time as that last one. It's just a smaller, thinner piece, so it's drying a little quicker. Next up, we got my fall flavored Lonzino. This is a pork loin. This is actually the one I cleaned the mold off of in a video not long ago, and you can see it's starting to get a little bit of white mold growing back. None of the funky mold's back. Yeah, this is fall flavored because, you know, it has some cloves, it has some cinnamon, nutmeg, cardamom, anise, those kind of flavors. Not very traditional, but very tasty. And this one, this is like about a week shy of 6 months now. This has been in there. I think this one's about ready to come out. 1664. Starting weight, 2535 minus 1, 34%. Targeting 35%. Guess I'll leave it for a little bit more. I mean, it could take it out. 30% is all it needs to be edible. But seems to be doing fine. I'll put it back in there. I was hoping to eat this fall though. I still like to mature it because it's always drier on this side. You can hear that compared to the fat side. And by maturing it or equalizing it, that softens that harder part up. Makes it less chewy. More enjoyable to eat. Next up is the fennel anise copa. This one has also been in there for just a week shy of 6 months. It has a little bit of a green mold I'm not loving, but I might wash that off. I don't know, let's see what it weighs. Well, this is at 34%, just like that loin. I don't know, either of those could come out. 34%, 6 months. I don't know, I think I'll put it back in there for now and I'll think on that. Next up is a whole bunch of pancetta. You know, I ordered another fan for the back of my cabinet because it's where the humidifier blows up and it's more humid back there. I know because I have that thermal hygrometer. I think another small computer fan set real low so it doesn't cause breeze. It's just going to help move more air around, and I think that's going to help. Well, this one's at 24%. These have been in there. All these next pancettas have been in there for 10 days, 6 months and 10 days. So they've been in there quite a while, but 24%. You know, I'm willing to go 25%. Pretty sure this one's going to be 24% also. Let's have a look. Oh, 25%. You know, I'm willing to take a pancetta out at 25%. Especially it's been in there 6 months. There's so much fat on these. I'm going to take this one out. These next 3 pancettas were from a different pig, about the same size though. Those ones I cut the belly into 2 pieces. This one I cut it into 3. And, you know, this is a little more green because it's been in the back. I tell you, that back is just a little too humid. So I'm hoping that computer fan comes soon and I think it will help. But I'm going to wash this one off too. That one's at 22%. Definitely has some mold I'm not happy with. Definitely got to wash these off. Yep, 16%. I mean, this is big. It's a very fat pancetta, but it's drying really slow. It's definitely too humid in the back. I hope that fan fixes that problem. I'm definitely going to wash off all 3 of these. This one's been hanging a little bit in front of there towards the back, but not all the way in back. And you can see it's got a lot more white mold. It's got a lot more of the good mold, a little less of the bad stuff. It's just that very back of my cabinet is not have good enough airflow. And this one, even though it's just as fat, it's lost 19% instead of 16%. You can really see the difference that's making. Set these aside to wash them off. This next one is the fiocco, which is the small muscle on the ham. And this is from the Red Wattle Big Black Cross. This has been in there just shy of 6 months. So on this it's a little different because it has the sunya layer. This is a putty made out of lard and rice flour. Slows down the drying. So what I have to do is take the weight it is now, subtract the amount of weight that the sunya was when I put it on there, and then that's what I divide by the starting weight. Minus 1, 32%, almost 33%. And this is the culatello from that same animal, the same Red Wattle Big Black Mix. Culatello is the big muscle on the ham. And this also has been in there just shy of 6 months. So this one's at 30% weight loss. 30%, I could take it out, but I'm going to leave it in. Time is flavor with this stuff. Well, this is the fiocco from the Old Spotted Gloucestershire Red Wattle Cross. This too has been in there just under 6 months. Both these animals, you know, were over 200 pounds. 100 pounds a side after, you know, being split and gutted and all that. But this one has actually been my favorite as far as the meat I've gotten out of it. It's so marbled. And this one is at 33% weight loss. So, you know, it could come out. A lot of this stuff could come out. But I want to go for 35 to 40% weight loss on these. Here's the culatello from that same animal. This one's also at a 30% weight loss. One more culatello. This one obviously much smaller, from a much smaller animal. This is a Duroc Hampshire Berkshire Cross. And this one has been in there for, let's see. This one has been in there for 8 months. This one's at a 36% weight loss. I might just take that out. You know, 8 months, give it another 8 months to mature. Still only a 16-month prosciutto. Just broke into an 18-month-old one. Actually, I broke into a couple of 18-month-old ones. I don't know, I'll think on this. This one's looking pretty good still, so could let it keep going. I don't know, I'll stick it back in there and think on it. This is the second oldest guest in my charcuterie cabinet. This is a garlic crullatello. I minced garlic when I was curing it. This has been in there 17.5 months. I think I'm taking it out today, even though it's not probably as dry as I'd like. This one's at 34%, and you know, I think I will leave it in there another 2 weeks so I can just say it's aged 18 months. And then if I mature it for, you know, another 18, that'll be a 3-year prosciutto. So I think I'll leave it in there 2 weeks. I don't know, what difference does a couple weeks make at that point? Well, before I unwrap that pancetta and see what it looks like inside, it's time to weigh up the very last thing in my cabinet. And this is the oldest resident of the cabinet. Then this is the whole prosciutto. Uh-oh, that's not a good number. 666. In the last month, this has only lost 36 grams of weight. I'm thinking this thing needs to come out soon. It's really the only thing in there that I did with the salt box method. Everything else I used the equilibrium cure. An exact amount, I weigh the meat. I use a percentage for my salt and spices. This was packed in salt, pressed with weight. So I'm thinking it's the original weight that I should be checking it on, not the weight it was after that salt box cure. Everything else I weigh after I cure it. It loses some weight in that equilibrium cure, but not that much weight. If there's anyone watching this who does the salt box cure, do you go by the weight before you put it in the salt box cure or after? I'm thinking it's probably before. Because this has lost 37.5% since its original weight before I cured it, and it's lost 28.2% of its weight. This has been in my cabinet almost 20 months, about 2 weeks shy of 20 months. You know, at 37.5% weight loss, I'm kind of thinking it's about ready to come out. I'm thinking it's that original weight that I should be checking it on, not the after the cure weight. You know, it lost like 12%, 13% of its weight just in the salt box with all that weight on top of it. If you know of anything about this, shoot me a comment. I'm thinking I'm going to take it out soon. I'd sure love to get the space back in my cabinet. Oh, let's see what that pancetta looks like inside. This is one I left tied up. Yeah, because I used the collagen sheet and I wanted to make sure it stayed nice and tight. Because it's not like the one with the casing, where the casing holds it nice and tight. It smells good. Usually, you get this collagen started, just peels off pretty well. Alright, looks a little funny on the outside, but so far looking pretty good on the inside. Oh, it's smelling really good. Telling you. Smell-o-vision and the board stretcher for carpenters. I'll be a wealthy man when I figure that out. Alright, well, got a little white mold on that outside. But actually, look, it's nice and tight. Nice and tight. I think I got to clean that mold off a little bit so that I can vacuum seal these, because I would like to age it. Yeah, I'm going to do that real quick. I'm not going to be able to make a video out of making this, unfortunately. Long story short, I've had a learning curve with making videos. I was listening to music in the background. That would be copyrighted, so I can't use that. My lighting was horrible. Wasn't paying attention. Wearing like clothes with holes in it. Getting ugly things in the background, like my bathroom door being open and stuff like that. And anyway, have to wait till next year's pigs. This is the pig I'm getting later this year, so this will be next year's charcuterie project. Let's see what he looks like inside. Little concerned about that hole in the middle, but pretty nice pinwheel other than that. I don't know if there's a way to really get it not have any of that. Wow, look at that fat. That's just beautiful. Look at that. It's just beautiful. Oh my God. It's just so fatty. So good. Anyway, oh, it's so good. I am going to vacuum seal these, let them mature a little bit, equalize them. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're still watching this video at this point, consider subscribing to my channel. And whatever you do, put some love into the food you're making. Peace.